Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory Live. Remember, if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. We're also on the audio side. So, wherever you find your shows, podcasts, you can find us there as well. And if you rock with the show, remember to leave a rate and review, give us a 5-star. That always helps the channel grow. But most importantly, if you've already done that, we do appreciate you. Also want to add in that this is an interactive show, so drop your comments. If you're watching this after the live, still drop your comments because we do see them. We might not always respond, but we are seeing your comments, and sometimes we talk about it, and we might talk about it on the next episode if it's really good as well. But lots to get into. Oh my gosh, Bryan, we thought it was going to be like a quiet boxing weekend. You know what I mean? Because there was only one fight that was really slated to be the big fight in terms of a big name.
Depending on
Keyshawn
who you ask.
Davis. Yeah, Keyshawn Davis was supposed to headline. And listen, a lot has happened this weekend. We're going to get into all of it. But I think we have to start off with what happened before any of the fights, even post fights, happened. We have to start off with the weigh-in, Bryan, because I think that's where it all began, really, right? Keyshawn Davis slated to fight Edwin De Los Santos. We had the preview for this, and we did talk about how Edwin De Los Santos had quite a layoff. He was ranked number 14, gets a title shot. We're going to get into all of that again, but Keyshawn Davis ended up missing weight by more than 4 pounds. And that's a big deal, Bryan. And for those who don't understand why that's a big deal and why they don't think it's a big deal, tell us why that's a big deal.
If you work in an office, there's just an expectation that, hey, there's a level of paperwork I'm going to have to do every day. There are certain things I need to account for the end of each month, so on and so forth. Like there's just certain things that are standard, even though they're kind of mundane or whatever. If you're a boxer, making weight is basically that, where it's like you signed a contract, you have to make weight because that's part of your job. I know making weight is hard for some people. And in MMA, we have people, especially who are cutting 30, sometimes north of that, pounds to make weight. But some of them do somehow, Kayla Harrison, make weight. In this instance, Keyshawn Davis, I don't know where he was cutting from. I always subscribe to something that former Invicta FC MMA atom weight champion Jillian DeCourcy told me, where it's like, yo, just fight in your weight class, cut like 10, maybe 15 tops. And that's like the most natural way to sort of do it. But constantly we have dudes, mostly dudes, not just dudes, who are trying to go 20, 25, 30 pounds to make a weight class that they shouldn't make, which is dangerous. Keyshawn Davis decides not to push further. He says he can't make the weight anymore. He wasn't making it for very long, but he can't make the weight anymore at 135. Similar thing happened to his boy, Shakur Stevenson, where he had to vacate multiple titles ahead of his fight. I think it was against Conceição. So Keyshawn Davis, once you get to 3-4 pounds, and you're not like that, one, that's considered not close for people who don't really follow this that closely. And two, you kind of knew ahead of time. He himself even said he knew the night before, which is a little perplexing, Shantelle, why he would be posing and talking the way he was when you're telling us you knew the night before. You might have known even before that you weren't going to make the weight. It's just bizarre. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, in terms of what was a bizarre weekend. But Keyshawn Davis no longer champion at 135, and he's going to move up to 140. We'll talk about the future of 135 as it pertains to the WBO, because this weight class is taking a turn. And this is just not, it's not cool. And Edwin De Los Santos on the other side of this, one, He gets his purse, so he gets his money for making the weight. He looked drained, so he looked like he really tried to make that weight. Edwin De Los Santos also, 19 months away from the ring, is going to have to take another fight and potentially show up 21 months away from the ring, 22 months away from the ring, because he now has to go through another training camp unless he's going to take a fight very quickly, and probably shouldn't have got a title shot to begin with because he's coming off a loss and a very, 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 very long layoff and didn't look good in that loss. So we're back to boxing being a mess. We're back to boxing just being a freak show, so to speak, with another weekend where it was like, oh, Keyshawn will win and we'll carry on here. We got at least one comment who was like, oh, Edwin De Los Santos is going to knock him out. You're a casual. And it's like, really? Like, off of a 19-month layoff, Edwin De Los Santos is going to knock out Keyshawn Davis. Really? Get the fuck out of here. But, Shantelle, like, this is where we're at.
Yeah, that's quite the tangent you went on, but we're going to have more tangents, I'm sure. So Keyshawn Davis not making weight, you said some kind of interesting things there. Number one, I think Bomac knew right away. You could just tell on his face that he kind of knew that Keyshawn wasn't going to make weight. And you could tell by his reaction. And here's the thing about that. Keyshawn Davis was doing all that talking, doing all this because he thought that Edwin De Los Santos would still fight him. I think that's why he was doing that. I don't think that Edwin De Los Santos, he thought, would be like, nah, we're not having the fight because it's not safe at that point. If you're coming in more than 4 pounds overweight, like Bryan was saying, that is a lot. That's not a little, that's not like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. This is more than 4 pounds that he came in overweight. It comes down to there was a contract. You agreed to the contract and you have to honor that contract. And that's what it comes down to. And I think a lot of this conversation that we're going to be having is having respect for the sport of boxing, because that's going to be a full narrative of this show for at least my point of view. Keyshawn Davis is arguably one of the most talented and upcoming boxers. He's got superstar written all over him. This is not how he should be acting. Now, here's the thing. Guys have missed weight before. Tank has missed weight. You mentioned Shakur Stevenson has missed weight. But when you sign that contract, you're agreeing to make that weight. And Bryan, it's so bad that he thought Edwin De Los Santos was still going to be like, yo, I'll still fight you. Edwin De Los Santos got his full purse, did not have to fight Keyshawn Davis. And that was a smart move for him. He's going to have a long layoff. But I think at the end of that, Keyshawn Davis was like, damn, I'm not going to be headlining anymore in my own city.
That's the other
thing.
And
I've been putting on for VA. I've been putting on for Norfolk. And here's the thing. Then you got Abdullah Mason coming up and headlining this whole thing. And it's like, he's next. Not a good look for Keyshawn Davis at all. Also not a good look because he even said himself, and he did take accountability. And he did say, I know it's unprofessional. So let's give him some credit there. He knew it. Right. He knew he was being unprofessional by not making weight. But hey, listen, for me, because we're going to go through the whole weekend, Bryan, I'm one of those people that's like, okay, you took accountability. You missed weight. It happens sometimes. I can forgive you for that. I won't lose respect for you for that.
Because, stop there.
Right? Because that's what I thought for the weekend. I was like, okay, right. Like I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, he didn't make weight. I've been riding for Keyshawn, Bryan. You know this. I'm like, he's next. He's the one, right? And I'm like, oh, I can forgive him for this. You know, I'm a forgiving person. So let me just. He didn't make weight. It happens. Okay, it happens to some of our favorite boxers. Okay, I'll forget about it. Let's go to Marlon 2631. Good friend of the show. Really quickly, Keyshawn is too talented to be acting like this. Shaking my head. We're gonna get into that. Also, TJ, good friend of the show. TJ, nice to see you in the morning. If you're on the West Coast, TJ, let us know if you're on the East Coast. But we appreciate you. Good friend of the show. He also said to Marlon, for sure. We got to get to Mateo. Very good friend of the show. Yes. Buenos dias, amigos. It didn't matter. Oh, thank you. I'm not a gringo anymore. It didn't matter that Keyshawn's family was on the card. He should have stayed home because no one aside from them wanted him there anyway. prancing around the event he ruined. He was like eating popcorn. Like, did you see the popcorn video where he's like stuffing his face with popcorn? And I'm just like, dude, like,
It was
this
a
guy.
little, yeah. Like he was very much on camera. I mean, that's the other thing about it that I probably didn't go hardest enough. So on that, I'm glad you mentioned. This is your first title defense in your hometown against somebody coming off a loss and a 19-month layoff, and this still happens. All right, let's get to the shit everybody is gonna want us to get to. Is watching now and will watch later, because a bunch of people will watch later. It's early Monday. You might not be able to get away from work. We understand.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next portion of this.
Nahir Albright is maybe a familiar name for you. He fought Keyshawn Davis a year and a half ago. Hasn't fought since. So it's like, okay, long layoff. Keyshawn's brother, Kelvin Davis, fights him in what became the co-feature. I think it was going to be televised anyway, but it became the co-feature because Keyshawn Davis' fight was off. Did I say something funny? What happened?
No, I just think I'm just waiting for you to get to your point, because I think I know where you're going. Sometimes I can read your mind when you're talking. So I'm like, we've done this show long enough, so I think I know where you're going. Okay, go ahead.
So Kelvin Davis is fighting Nahir Albright, 140. So Nahir Albright moves up in weight on top of being out of the long layoff. And Kelvin Davis gets his ass beat. Like, he wins 2 rounds, maybe Shantelle, maybe 2 rounds.
It was bad. It was really, really bad.
Like, Nahir Albright, by the way, he's good. Okay, he has 2 losses. The loss he had to Keyshawn Davis, 1 majority decision, 2 close fight, 3 no contest, because Keyshawn Davis tested positive for weed, which I don't know if that should negate a victory.
I don't think it should in this day and age. I really don't.
Like, I don't smoke, but it's just weed. Who cares?
And also, if it's like legal in some states, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
that's a different conversation for a different time.
So Nahir Albright, like, one of his 2 losses is to Jermaine Ortiz, and both of them are close. Like, he's good, so he beats the shit out of Kelvin Davis, not even close. After the fight, and he gets a majority decision. One of the judges tried to rob him and give him a draw, which I don't know what they were looking at. The scorecards might not have been wide enough. He wins the fight. He does an interview in the back with Mark Kriegel on ESPN. And I'm like, I'm looking at his face. I'm literally like this, Shantelle. I'm like, I'm staring at the camera with my head on my chin. I'm like, he didn't have that on his head before. Like, and my girl's trying to tell me something. Like, wait, hold on. I put the volume up, and he's like, yo, I got jumped in the back by Keon and Keyshawn Davis. And I'm like, did you hear that? Like, did you hear what I just heard? Because he has a cut. He has new swelling over here on the side. And I'm like, this is some WWE shit. Somebody who watches WWE, although I miss Money in the Bank, so don't give me no spoilers. I just know that Khloe Kardashian and Travis Barker got booed to hell. That's all I know. So we're going to pull this up now because, we have a video of not the Mark Kriegel interview, because that was really short. We have the longer version that we're going to react to as this goes. But Shantelle, before that, can you tell me your initial reaction when you're looking at this interview with Nahir Albright, that we expect the winner to be interviewed in the back by Mark Kriegel before the main event goes on with Abdullah Mason, but your initial reaction to looking at him, and were you also like me, where you were kind of like, I don't remember those cuts and that measure of swelling being there from the fight itself?
Listen, I saw the fight, and Kelvin did not land on him like that. So I'm looking at the interview like, damn, what happened to his forehead? Like, is this like post 40 minutes of swelling out of nowhere? Like, what happened? Like, it looked bad. I'm like, I don't remember this. And then when he said, I got jumped by Keyshawn and Keon, I kind of had no words. Like, I was like, what? Let me go back. Let me check if this happened. So then I'm on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, this really happened. I saw the ESPN clip, but Brian, do we want to play the clip where he's a little bit more cleaned up and he's talking about what happened? Because even on the ESPN broadcast, yeah,
we will. I just want to show people this right here, this level of swelling, cut, whatever this is, this gash on his forehead, if you want to call it that, was not there after the fight, not to this degree, if it was at all. He just was more marked up from what we saw from the actual fight. Lou DiBella tweets, Nahir Albright should press charges. Which legally he can do that. Like, he has a case. I don't think he's going to, because he then challenged Keyshawn Davis to run it back in the ring. To which, yeah, that should welcome to 140, Keyshawn Davis. Here's your opponent. Your win before got wiped out. Now this is personal. You attacked him in the back. Like, this is something that would set up a fight at SummerSlam.
You know, like,
this is some WWE shit for real.
No, you know what's crazy though? I kind of do like the storyline. Like, I'm so sick that I'm like, yo, I kind of watch this fight. You know, like, if I would tell my friends, I would be like, yo, they jumped him after he beat his brother. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot with this fight. It's not just a regular fight. And when he fought Keyshawn the first time, it was close. But now it's personal. You know,
and
like,
he didn't make weight. He had to give up his title.
It was in his hometown. You know what I mean? His brothers were fighting. His brother got into it. And then there was another altercation that got caught on camera. Like, this fight is crazy. Like, we're reporters, we work in media. The storylines for this next fight is so juicy. It's so good. This might be better than like Papoose, Clarissa Shields, and Remy Ma.
I'll tell you what, it's more interesting than Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda now.
Oh yeah, no,
from a purely drama standpoint, not an in the ring. Although maybe some would say maybe because if styles make fights, then that could be one sided. Nahir Albright should press charges. Lou DiBella says he beats up a Fugazi prospect.
I did laugh when I saw him write that.
Talking about Kelvin Davis. Suffers very little damage and hurts worse from an assault in his dressing room by his opponent's brothers. The Virginia Commission should involve the police. I am flabbergasted. A lack of character imploded boxing careers tonight. Lou DiBella is not one who's going to reach for the authorities very quickly.
Lou's a real one. And by the way, we got to get him back on the show. We had him on the show. He was like our first guest ever.
He was our first guest.
He just keeps it real.
We'll get him back to shit on the sport. OG says he did have it on his forehead beforehand. It was not like this.
Can we get to the other video, Brian, where he tells us what happened?
So this is per Mark Davis, who is a sports director of News 3 WKTR in Norfolk, Virginia. Okay, I thought the rest of that was legitimate for a second because it said something about the Raiders, but we don't have to get to that. Oh, Mark Davis, I just got it. It's a joke. Haha. Name of the owner. Nahir Albright says Keyshawn and Keon Davis entered his locker room after his win over Kelvin Davis. Albright claims Keyshawn headbutted him. And then he and his team, this is so stupid. He and his team will discuss whether to take legal action.
Let's play the video.
Let's play the video.
Locker room and celebrated my victory with my team. And Keyshawn and his little brother came in and they started looking at me. It's like they saying something about his older brother, like they was mad, and he like grabbed me, pushed me back. I'm like grabbing his hand. He like moved his head towards my head, got like a little.
So you bumped heads?
Yeah, he like headbutted me. Yeah, he like headbutted me.
He's rubbing the cut.
Keyshawn did?
Yeah. Okay. So that's what happened.
Any words between you and them after the fight that might have led to this incident?
No, actually, like I said, I was in the locker room. Their locker room is right next door to mine. So I guess they heard like us like happy and all that kind of stuff, and they came in and started trouble.
So they came in. We'll pause it there. It's 4 minutes, so we'll play the rest of it. They came in and just started trouble. Apparently,
They're like, oh my God, they're celebrating. Fuck this.
do you,
Like, that's what they did, dude. They're
If-
celebrating in my city. Like,
if we're doing three sides to a story, I would want to hear Keyshawn's account of this.
yeah,
But
I do want to know
tend,
why.
I tend to believe Nahir, but I want to allow room for like, will Keyshawn come out and say, I feel like he would have said it already. Nahir was talking shit and they confronted him. You know what I mean? Like something like that. I could see.
But Brian, okay, actually, there's a bigger conversation. Let's play a little bit of the rest of it because I do want to follow back on that comment that you just made. But let's see what else he has to say.
Did anyone punch you or anything, or is it just a headbutt?
Yeah, just a grab and a headbutt.
Why do you think they would do this?
I mean, they upset that their brother lost, and yeah, poor sportsmanship.
Have you heard of something like this before? You ever seen or heard of something?
I never been through this. I never seen no one go through this. Yeah.
So how did the altercation end? Who ended it?
My coaches like grabbed them, and then I think security came in and grabbed them.
There's a video of Keyshawn like trying to charge again. Was there like a second time, or was there like
That was my older brother.
that was your older brother?
Yeah, my older brother, because he was trying to talk to them like that was unprofessional and things like that. And yeah, it just got crazy.
What's
Was
your
there
older
anyone
brother's name?
on his team that
My
was
older
trying-
brother name is Terrence Brown.
Terrence Brown.
Yeah.
Was there anyone on his team that was trying to help, like, break it up or prevent it from happening? Like, I saw some coaches, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think Kelvin was trying to break it up.
Yeah, the one that you beat.
Yeah, the one that I beat. I think he was trying to break it up.
That's a terrible question too. The one that you beat. It's like his name's Kelvin Davis. Stop it. He just fought. Like, what are we doing here? Like, have some respect for the guy. No, like, you know, like some reporters say dumb things, and I'm sorry, that was dumb. Have some respect. The guy
That
just fought
got
in
you
a fight.
pissed off, yo.
Like, I don't like that, dude. That's disrespectful. And it's good to hear because we talk about DB3. We're going to talk about DB3. It's good to hear that Calvin was trying to break it up. And Marlon 2631 says really quickly here, if that's true, we need the other side. I agree because I want to know why Keyshawn and Keon did that. Now, were they just being like, oh man, this guy beat my brother, let's go tear it up? Or did Nahir and his team say something? Something like, I don't know what would set off somebody to act like that. Now, here's the other part of it, the other layer of it. Keyshawn should know better than to act like this after he just missed weight. And this is my problem with it. I don't know Keyshawn's side of it. He hasn't come out. He hasn't released a statement and why he did this. We're going to wait for that. I'm sure it's going to come. It's going to have to come.
Kelvin apparently is the only one who said something publicly, offering some sort of apology after the fact.
But they didn't explain.
Which is interesting that Nahir said he's the one that tried to break it up.
Yeah. But here's the thing. We don't actually know why it happened. And I think that's what we need to figure out. Like, why did you do this? Right? Because right now, it just looks like they're sore losers and there's poor sportsmanship. The one thing that gets me really heated about this is that Nahir beat Kelvin fair and square, bodied him in the ring. He just went the distance in the ring. When you get into the ring, you put your life on the line. He shouldn't be getting in a altercation after. Like, that's ridiculous. Have some respect for the sport. We don't know your side of the story. We just know that you and your brother went into the winner's locker room that just beat your brother and attacked him. That's all we know until you give your statement. Now, here's the thing. Not only are you slated to be the next face of boxing, but Keyshawn, don't give them a reason to say bad things about you. Who am I saying them? Not like, I'm just going to keep it real. Brian, you and I are minorities. People are just waiting for us to mess up. People are just waiting for us to mess up. I don't have to be very clear here, right? And don't give people a reason to say those things about you because you're bigger than just the superstar, dude. There's people in your city, kids that look up to you. You can't be acting like this. Like, this is like Keyshawn is a light of hope of where he's from. And that's where I'm upset about it because this guy is so talented. And dude, like his fights in his city, like you could just tell that he means a lot to this community. and kids look up to him. And it's like, you can't act like this. Now, here's the one thing that I felt about it. And Keyshawn taught me something. And I'm going to keep it real on this podcast. So I've been trying to act a fool at work lately. Okay. I've been wanting to act a fool at work, right? Brian had to calm me down the other day.
Details will not be provided.
Yes. Okay. And I was trying to cut up at work. I was like, you know what? Like, I was not feeling it. Keyshawn taught me an important lesson. Do not throw it all away. Okay? Because you can throw it all away. Thank you, Keyshawn. Because I was about to cut up at work the other day, and you taught me a lesson here.
She's not lying.
Like I'm not
absolutely not lying.
Okay, like I was like, you know what? I was not happy. So I that's why I do want to get Keyshawn's version of it, because there's so much on the line for him that I don't think he would do that without a reason. And I don't want to just like say that he's a sore loser, because he doesn't come off as that guy. They call him the businessman, right? Like, this is not good business. But that's just kind of what I thought about it. It's like, yo, like, you are a pillar of your community. Not only that, but you're representing your whole city. You are a Black man in this sport. Don't give anybody a reason to tear you down or say bad things about you, man, because once that happens, that's going to continue. And you don't want to give anybody a reason to be like, that guy shouldn't be the superstar. That guy shouldn't be it. You know what I mean? So it's more than just this, man. There's people that look up to him, and I lost a lot of respect for Keyshawn. I want to get his side, but this is the only side I know. So this is the only side I'm going to comment on.
Let's play a little bit more of this, and then we'll get to Kelvin Davis's apology. Very well said, by the way.
Do you feel like it kind of took something away from how you went, or you're cool?
I mean, it's definitely kind of.
For people who didn't hear the question, because that was really low, he was asked, Nahir Albright was asked whether or not this takes something away from his victory. This the altercation after the fight.
It's a little unfortunate, but nothing could take away, the feeling of being a champion tonight. I ain't gonna let nothing ruin my night. I'm the new champion.
Talk about your execution during the fight, because you were like landing those big right hands over the course of the fight, like from early rounds, like from round 2 on, and that kind of carried what you were able to do as far as like winning rounds.
Yeah, we practiced that in training camp over and over, and it worked. It worked tonight. Once I saw it working.
I think now they just talk about like the actual fight stuff, so we're good here. For people,
what's your thoughts, Brian?
For people who are confused, the title he has, because people might be like, "Yo, wait, was this for a world title?" No, this is for the WBC USA Silver Super Lightweight Championship, which is basically, one of the regional step-up titles. Relatively newer. Also, there's only been 4 fights for this title in history, but every title needs a silver title for the WBC. Apparently, the apology from Kelvin Davis, which is posted on apparently Facebook. No questions asked. On behalf of DB3, he says, on behalf of DB3, we apologize for conducting ourselves in that way. Tension was high and emotions got the best of us. This is one of those no punctuation ones, no punctuation statements. We will be back and better and more professional. It's ups and downs with this, and we're going to take what comes with it. With that being said, we didn't jump anybody. He says in all caps, we didn't jump anybody. But keep believing the media that's twisting narratives. There is a video out. Just saying. I don't know. To be fair, I don't know if the video confirms that they jumped him, but the video does confirm there was an altercation. And again, we need to hear all sides to see who started what, whatever. But keep believing the media that's twisting narratives. Part of the game. We will regroup. But it will be for us and not, quote unquote, our people. And that's pretty much it. I don't know what to make of that, other than he says that they didn't jump anybody, but like, it doesn't look great. So this is it. This is basically what it is.
So, Brian, I kind of shared my thoughts on what I thought about it. What do you think about it? Like, what do you think about what happened?
You can't have BA says too many belts in boxing. I appreciate that. OGs also. says, I was there at the fight on the floor. Nahir had a knot and a cut midway through the fight. I remember because I was confused on how Kel didn't have any swelling or cuts despite losing, unlike Nahir. It did not look like that to that degree on the way it looked in the interview from what they showed after the fight. Like it's not to say that the level of gash wasn't there at all, but it wasn't to that degree. So, but this is where we need more done. We need to know if Nahir is going to press charges because we don't know if that's going to happen. As far as my thoughts on it, like, yeah, like Keyshawn, I agree with everything you said, and you can't give people reasons to not doubt you because that's whatever. People are going to doubt anybody and every single thing. But you can't, like, you're giving people ammunition to use against you. Like this is a black eye on your career. And it would have been a black eye on your career if you just gave up the title and couldn't fight in front of your hometown fans, a fight that has been, I don't know if people understand. Like if you follow Top Rank, literally their accounts, this has been a fight that they're really trying to like have some big shit around it, trying to have like a lot of energy around it. They were promoting the shit out of this. Now you could just say they're doing their jobs as Top Rank, as Keyshawn Davis' promoters, but they've been promoting DB3 heavily leading up to this. Even as we said, the fight on paper, no disrespect to Edwin De Los Santos, kind of one-sided, given the context. If Edwin De Los Santos was coming off like a win and had fought, more recently, different story. But he wasn't coming off like a knockout against Rayo Valenzuela, for example. He's coming off a 19-month layoff. So it's like you have all these things catered to you where you don't make weight, you don't show up in front of your fans, where Top Rank is like, hey, we're offering refunds until 5 p.m. the next day. Doors are now going to open at this time, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is your arena in Norfolk. You've fought at this arena before and done quite well. You're becoming a star, not just there, but in the sport. You're a world champion already. This is your first title defense. And all of that was basically thrown out. And on top of that, you have this happen. Like, regardless of who started it, honestly, like, regardless of who did what, if you fight for a living, if you fight to make money, you should not be fighting for free. You should not be getting into these, like, you guys have to like cool it, especially because like, you can kill somebody with your bare hands, and having that level of confidence, it shouldn't mean that you're going around just like, having these altercations and whatnot. Like when dudes shove each other in a press conference, that's one thing, but like getting into a full-blown altercation after the fact, it's crazy. Like you should not be fighting for free if you fight for money. You shouldn't be. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
When I go back into what I was saying when I said, like, don't give them a reason, what I want to elaborate on that, because it was the comments after that I kept seeing that I was like, okay, like, this sucks now, because some of those comments were like, get
Racist.
This thug out of boxing.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. And that's when I'm like, this is the stuff I don't want for Keyshawn.
Right.
Right. This is the stuff I don't want to hear, because it turns into a race thing. Like, oh, these guys are thugs and blah, blah, blah. Like, now you started that conversation, and that's a hard conversation to get away from. And it just taints things, and it's unfair, but it's like, you should know better because you're being pegged to be the next guy. You just have to make the grown decision, the more mature decision. And sometimes it sucks, but sometimes you just have to do that. And like, I probably won't be the one that's probably the best person to speak on that, because I'm not the most mature in a lot of situations like that. Legit, Brian had to calm me down last week. But but I'm just saying, like, Keyshawn, for him, he just means so much to his community, man. And you hate to see it. And it's disappointing. And let's be serious, like, it's not tough. You don't go, if they did jump in, like, this is the story that we know. I'm commenting on what's being reported. But it's like, yo, if you go into your brother's opponent's locker room that just beat the brakes off your brother, right? And you go into his locker room and you attack him with your other brother, that's lame, dude. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is really going on? That's not tough dude stuff. It's lame. Like, I just think that also there's the respect factor for boxing, and you can't do that. This guy just put his life on the line, went into the ring. So did your brother. Like, have some respect for the sport. But like I said, we don't know Keyshawn's side until we get it. We can't have the full scope of things. And like Bryan said, 3 sides to a story: Nahir's story, DB3's story, and the truth.
And it's possible that Nahir's is the truth, who's we've heard so far. And Kelvin Davis maintains that they didn't jump anybody. So here's one. There's another version of the video that's harder to see what's going on. This one's a little clearer, but at the same time, like, I don't think this entire incident was captured either, because this started from another place. You see immediately in this video, this is Keyshawn Davis right here. And let's just play it. This is actually from the ESPN broadcast, so hopefully they don't flag us.
Get the best of you. You see when you don't control your anger, you see what happens.
That's Timothy Bradley talking.
This type of stuff right here. The stock just plummeted to
There's
the floor.
Brother.
I was a Davis Brothers fan. I was. No, I'm Abdullah Mason 5 Brothers fans, because the way they behave like true professionals.
You know, there is another.
So that's Timothy Bradley that took a turn. I didn't know where he was going with the Abdullah Mason thing, but this is just like the aftermath video, it looks like.
Timmy did hit on it. You know, you get opportunity. What costs someone else is your potential gain, and the way Abdullah Mason handled him.
Yeah. So not a lot you can take from that. And then the other one is very like just all over the place.
Yeah.
But I think we'll see what happens. I mean, if
there needs to be a suspension, like if there should be a suspension, and that's a conversation where I think we need to have that conversation, Bryan, because if Keyshawn, if they're going to do some type of investigation, I would feel they would have to if they're going to suspend him. But I feel like a suspension would come from this, and it would be a statement, because you don't want this thing to happen again. Like if I'm boxing, I'm making a statement here. We can't have this in boxing, period.
My question would be, okay, if you're suspending him and Keon too, apparently, right? If you're suspending them, this is more of a Keyshawn question. What is it? Like 3 months, 6 months? Dudes fight 2-3 times a year. Presumably he was going to fight another time this year. So do you suspend him for the rest of the year? And is that too like heavy-handed? Like I don't
think it is, man.
I don't know how you go. I don't know how, because it's different. Like if this is the NBA, I can tell you this person's going to get 5 games. This person's going to get 10 games. This person's going to get a slap on the wrist, or whatever. Like, because it's an 82-game season, I have a lot more things to choose from. NFL, if there's a confrontation, you know, you get a fine, you get suspended for a game, whatever.
But it's always different in the NFL. Like if someone does something, they're like, "Oh, I'll give you 7-day games," and then someone does something similar, they're like, "I'll give you 5 games." Like the NFL, I don't know what it is with them.
I guess what you're saying, yeah, HLD, who just got here, what's up? We mentioned the Albright stuff. We played some sound of his and his account and his side of the story. So now we're wrapping up on this point, because there's another piece of this that we want to get to, actually, which is the inside the ring part as it relates to the future of the championship and the lightweight division. But like you can't suspend Shantelle, you can't suspend somebody for a fight. Like Keyshawn Davis can't, not literally like what we're talking about. I mean, Keyshawn Davis, like you can get suspended for a game in the NFL. You get suspended for a game in the NBA. You can't get suspended from a boxing match. You have to be suspended from boxing for a while. So is 6 months too heavy-handed? B. Hayes says 6 months is cool. They give drug cheats 12 months. Some drug cheats don't get anything in this sport. And some people get 2 years. So it depends. So I think this is something that's going to be talked about. There are people calling for a suspension. I don't know where I'm at on this. I think, and he already got fined for missing weight. Do you just fine him some more? Like, I don't know. I think they're probably going to look into this and investigate it, but I honestly don't know like where this is going to go from that.
I don't know. It's kind of tough to say, because I've never heard something like this happening, and it's the first time. OG says, suspended for what? A headbutt and almost fighting. I think we have to realize the depth of what happened. It's not just a headbutt. Like, dude, like he went into a locker room and headbutted a fighter that just went the distance in the ring, that put his life on the line in the ring. That headbutt, could you imagine if there was some type of like internal bleeding or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's dangerous.
After a
Like,
fight. Yeah.
come on. Like, what are we talking? It's dangerous, right? Like, it's not cool. None of it is cool. And I don't think you can take that lightly. Like, I'm totally being a Karen right now, but I'm, you know, I feel like it too, because I think there should be a suspension. Now, whether that's 3
It's
months
more
or
of a
6
principle
months,
thing for you.
it's just like, don't disrespect the sport of boxing. That's literally what happened here, right? And then there's the other factor where it's like, I'm a big Keyshawn fan. I've been saying Keyshawn's the one. I'm disappointed too, right? There's two sides to this, but it's like, respect the sport, respect your opponents, have some sportsmanship. Even if y'all got beef, do it in the ring, right? Like, come on, Keyshawn. Like, if you've beat him before, like, there's just so many layers to it, and like, you just don't do this type of stuff. Like, it just doesn't happen. So I do think that there should be a suspension, Brian, because like, then what? Then we're gonna have people going into people's locker rooms and starting stuff after.
I get
right?
it. Like, it would try to send a message. HLD says Brian is right. How do you adjudicate Keyshawn in boxing unless the commission suspended for like a year? Which reminds me also of the Lou DiBella tweet that we referenced earlier. He did say the Virginia Boxing Commission could get involved because they're the ones who could look into this. And I mean, that would matter, especially because Keyshawn Davis is from there. So like, they could make the statement if they want to do it. HLD adds this was assault. Yeah, fools try to downplay it.
It was. It's like, what happened wasn't cool. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, you can't have this type of stuff in boxing. It's bad for the sport. It's, you know, so there needs to be something done, whether that's a fine, whether Nahir decides to actually press charges, he could do all of that. But I just feel like, yo, he just fought, like, he went the distance with your brother. Like, this is dangerous, man. So
Ryan Shepard says, without video or an eyewitness of what happened in the locker room, I don't think they could suspend them at this point. It's Albright's word versus DB3. They'll probably find them. It's all gray area. Well, in arenas like this, there usually are cameras everywhere. So there has to be some sort of camera that caught the incident like at more depth than we've been able to see online, that can release the footage, or that the commission knows exists and is investigating privately or what have you.
Yo, by the way, before we get into this quickly,
TMZ could find this shit, by the way.
Did you guys see Teofimo Lopez's video that he put out about the Keyshawn Davis thing? Did you guys, did anyone see that?
I didn't know he did.
Teofimo Lopez put out a video talking about, he clearly sees that Keyshawn is going through something mentally, and that he's been there before, and that he's acted out before. And so this is a route that could be taken. Like, I don't know, but that's what listen, Ryan, I know you're putting your head down, but Teo actually seemed pretty genuine in this.
Okay.
He was like, I know Keyshawn. It seems like he's going through something, but it was just a different outlook on it.
Coming from the dude who allegedly sent him the banana.
Hey, man, he had his back.
Banana or watermelon. He sent them one or the other and tried to blame it on, or Keyshawn thought it was Barenchik, and Teofimo Lopez allegedly was the one behind it. He was laughing at the video, eating.
He thinks the dumbest stuff, but he's got his own stuff.
I can't take Teofimo Lopez seriously. I just can't. Like, I feel like everything he says is with like a wink. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Let's get to the boxing piece of this.
Yes.
Let's get to the. Oh, she says.
I thought it seemed genuine because he was like, "I've been there before."
He's trying to be, but he talks out of the side of his mouth. Like, you tell people, I cannot take anything he says seriously. Anything. Like, remember, I was there. I was there at the press conference availability at the end, where he was pressed on some of the racist shit he was saying months earlier. And he was like, he looked at us dead in our face. He was like, we're all racist. All of us. You know, like, he's like, you know.
That was bad. I think he says dumb stuff.
We're all children under Jesus Christ. He was playing the religious card. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, we're not all.
But I think when it comes to like the racism stuff, I think he's just like, he just doesn't get it.
He's just a bad troll. I don't know.
You know,
man.
I don't know, but he did say like prayers up for Keyshawn and his family. I don't know.
Should I look up this bit? Hold on. Let me see.
I don't know if we have the time, Brian, to be honest with you.
We might not, but it might
Like,
be.
we don't have.
I don't know what happened there. Did you mute yourself? You brought it up. All right. Yeah, we probably don't have the time for this, but I can't even find it anyway. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay. We do have something else to get to though, as it relates to this. From Ring Mag. WBO set to order Sam Noakes, Abdullah Mason for the vacant lightweight title. So we got off saying last week, we were like, Abdullah Mason might not get a title shot to like, I don't know, 2026, whatever, even though he's number 2 already, because they might not want to rush into him versus Keyshawn Davis. But because of everything that happened, Abdullah Mason might actually get a title shot this year. Your thoughts on the WBO potentially moving on from this? And just having Abdullah Mason already potentially fight for what could be a really good title fight. And I wonder where this would take place, in the UK or in the US, who wins that purse bid. But
Sam Noakes is a big name in the UK. This is a great fight. I love it.
Great fight.
I love it for Abdullah Mason, and I think he's been building up, and I feel like now's the time. And the WBO is like, you know what? Let's move away from this. Let's focus on Abdullah Mason right now, because he's good for boxing. And Sam Noakes, this is a very good fight, guys. Very, very good fight.
We're doing a post-fight show after this, if possible.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
The Sam Noakes, he either just fought or has a fight coming up. Sam, by the way, you have like a great knockout percentage here. Sam Noakes, 15 wins by KO out of the 17. Mason now 17 because he won. He beat Nakatila, 5th round stoppage. Didn't come out for the 5th round. Abdullah Mason looked great again. 17 knockouts and 19 victories. So you have a combined 32 knockouts across 36 victories. Sam Noakes fights. No, he just fought in May. He just fought last month. Got a quick knockout. And it looked like a stay busy fight because he dropped from having a 12 rounder to an 8 rounder. He had the British title, the Commonwealth, and the WBO International Lightweight title. So he's #1 contender. Yeah, this is a really, really, really interesting fight. Ryan Shepard adds Davis versus Albright, Davis versus Teo, Davis versus Cruz. Keyshawn has a couple of fights with a good backstory. That's funny. This is a really, really, like, I hope that they do pursue this. The WBO, I hope that they do make this happen, and I hope that everyone involved makes it happen. Abdullah Mason hopes so too. Let's make it happen. Mason told a group of reporters, let's have a great fight, and it'll be amazing. It's something that people want to see. I feel like Sam Noakes is definitely a worthy opponent. He lets his hands go. Great offense as well, but it'll be something amazing. I kind of want this to take place in the UK. Like,
I think it would be bigger in the UK.
I do too. Like, because Sam Noakes, he is popular out there. Anyone who wins the British title is popular in the UK.
I say whatever is going to get, Abdullah Mason the bag.
Like he might make more money if it's in the UK.
I believe he would. Like, but it's also like, does Abdullah Mason want to leave the States to go fight in Sam Noakes' backyard when it's like, if they could have it here in the States, you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't have to leave.
Nah, man, it's a world title. You go where the world title fight is, for the most part.
Yeah.
There's some places that I wouldn't want to go to fight for a world title. But regardless, like, Terrence Crawford did it. He beat the shit out of Ricky Burns. Yeah. And, like, he won his world title, his first world title there. Timothy Bradley did it. Was it Junior Witter, I want to say? Like, guys have done it. Yeah, I think this could totally be this feels like a fight that will end up being in the UK, but we'll see. Is Frank Warren promoted, has been promoting Sam Noakes. And Frank Warren obviously has worked with Bob Arum in the past a lot. So I think there's a good potential for a fight there. I think that's a really, really fun fight. And actually, before we go, we'll pull up the rankings. There's some other stuff that we could have got that we probably, we could get to in terms of like, people were talking about Troy Isley and Tiger Johnson and their performances. Yeah. But like, we'll have time for that to assess before the next fight. We may even get Troy back on the show. I feel like he's getting overly criticized because he's not a knockout puncher, but Yeah, there was probably room for like a more dominant performance, if you will, but he had a tough fight. Okay. This is WBO ranking now. It's already vacant. Shout out to Boxing Scene for being on top of it. Sam Noakes, Abdullah Mason, and then you got to go a long way down for Edwin De Los Santos, who was going to magically get a title shot
Number
in this
14.
fight. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this division now. Andy Cruz, by the way. So we won't go at length about this. Shantelle hates this fight, but Richardson Hitchens is fighting George Kambosos
Oh
at
my
140
God.
this weekend in New York City.
I'm about to leave, you guys.
I'm probably not going to this fight. It's a cover.
Hitchens is going to dominate every round.
I'm gonna be busy that day. Yeah. So they apparently the top rung of tickets at the 5,000, 6,000 seat MSG Theater tickets weren't being sold there last I checked. So they'll probably call them to sell out, but we'll see. Andy Cruz is also on the card, is why I bring that up, and he's also a fixture in this division as well. Comments, questions on the way out the door on any of this. So we have, let's see, Yasir Ali. What do you think? Hold on, let me actually stop screen sharing this because we're done with that.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to Keyshawn? I think he'll get disciplined, but I don't know if it'll be like a long-term suspension. I think he'll get maybe a fine, but I don't know. I legitimately don't, because boxing makes the rules as they go. It's hard to have a firm grasp on like what the boxing commission is going to do. I can't say I know the Virginia Boxing Commission as well as I know the New York one. You know what I mean? So it's tough, but I feel like some measure of discipline will happen. But this sport, the sport just does what it wants. So we'll see.
Well, that's another thing too. It's like, are they going to suspend Keyshawn Davis, like a rising, budding star, for this? I think they want to get away from this, though. I think there's going to be some type of fine, maybe a little minor slap on the wrist. But I don't think it's going to be like a year suspension. Like, I don't think it's going to be that heavy. But I think the sport of boxing was disrespected this weekend more than once, and I think that's the tough part for me in all of this.
And Nahir has some of the cards here, and it's up to look, if Keyshawn has a different side of the story, like tell it, like come out with it. It's Monday, we got to wrap. B Hayes says. Abdullah says, I'll go wherever I need to go to get a title. I think that's a good fight in the UK. And I think he could win that fight. Betting wise, I think maybe he'll be the favorite, but I don't know.
I don't want the UK fans to get mad at me, but if Sam
I know you're
Noakes
picking Abdullah Mason.
Of course I am. Like, what are we doing here? I like Sam Noakes though.
I might too, but I like Sam Noakes also. He's good.
But it's like, is it one of those things where like one of the UK fighters gets exposed?
Which tends to happen. I don't want to offend our boy. Like, we have big fan from the UK, but it does tend to happen. Look, it happens to some Americans too, but it does happen to UK guys a lot.
If we're wrong about Sam Noakes, but I think Sam Noakes is really good, but I think Abdullah Mason is he's the one.
OG says, I don't know how Key can be suspended. Should it have happened? Hell no. But I can't completely believe Nahir, because this is the same guy who initially said he was jumped and then backtracked. Yeah, this is why there needs to be an investigation ultimately. The commission has to, if they're going to look into this. I think at a base level, maybe Keyshawn gets fined. I do think / hope that Keyshawn and Nahir do fight in the ring, sanctioned. Do have a fight later this year, because now you could sell that as a main event. I question if it'll be in Virginia. Nahir might not want to do that again, and he might actually have some cards as to why. But I do hope it happens. That's a fight that, I was going to say ESPN, but Top Rank won't be at ESPN at that point. Unless they redo the deal. Gustavo from WBO says championship committee will decide if it's a 4-man tournament or 1 versus 2 will fight, and if agreement is not made, a purse bid will be ordered. Got it. We'll see, because they say that shit, but then right back to 1 versus 2.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I can't take anything anybody says in boxing seriously.
You know how many how many fights the commission orders and it never happens? Dude, how many fights? It does not matter. You know what I mean? Boxing does whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it.
Until a press release We just don't know. And even
Yeah.
then, sometimes plans change.
That's why I never get excited when like a commission orders a fight because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's gonna
This
happen.
is why when fights get reported or leaked or whatever, unless it's from like one of like a couple different dudes, we're kind of like, ah. And then when the press release comes out, it's like, okay, now we can do a show and talk about it.
Yeah.
Should succumb.
Whoa!
This
What's going
just,
on with you
this
right
is just
now?
like professional broadcaster 101. You know what I'm saying? You can't put two SH words next to each other. Fucks me up. That's a joke. Should Shakur, we got it.
Sound it out. Sound it out.
Should Shakur versus Zepeda be for the ring belt now that it's number 2 versus number 3 in the lineal rankings? I think it should. And I mean, the ring is promoting it, so why not? The IBF rankings are so chaotic, Ryan Shepard says. Yeah, they're my favorite because they be coming out of nowhere. If you want a good 30 minutes of your day to just kill, if you need a good 30 minutes, go look at the IBF website. Just Google it. Look at the IBF website and look at some of the past rankings from like a couple years ago, a few years ago. You'll see names that no matter how closely you follow boxing, I promise you'll see names in the top 15 you've never heard of that were top 15 ranked in the IBF. They're there for like a couple months and then they lost, they got knocked out, and then they dropped back down. You're like, who the fuck was that guy? What? Go look at some of the IBF title fights from the last few years. For like super featherweight, lightweight, or whatever. Some of the challengers and some of the guys fighting for a title. You're like, this guy fought for a world title. IBF is a one of one and not always in the best ways possible. Andy Cruz fight wouldn't be bad. Yasir Ali says. HLD says Bob Arum did throw Keyshawn under the bus publicly on Friday, but after this, now who knows? OG says they said next time they run it back, it will be in Philly. Again, people say things, but I love Philly, so I wouldn't mind that as a consumer. Foxy. Ban Keyshawn for a year. I'm being dramatic, but I was fuming at the same time.
I think we all were as boxing purists or fans, you know?
Rocky Austin says, breaking news, Top Rank let Keyshawn go due to his unruly behavior, according to Bob Arum. Ghetto thugs in boxing should be banned for life. I don't think that's going to happen. That stun me if that happened. I also don't think, I don't think Bob Arum's going to go that route, but we'll see what happens. Lionel Watson says, you're going to get Mason versus Flores, which would be a one-sided beating.
I've always liked Flores, but
I'd rather see Mason versus Noakes.
100%. I think that's definitely the bigger fight. Brian, we do have some other things to get into, but I think we'll save it for the next live that we have.
Yeah. Are we coming back this week, or are we done till next week?
I don't know. Are we done till next week?
Yeah, the news.
If something happens,
does not want to talk about Richardson Hitchens and George Kambosos. She's no interest. No. And to be honest with you, I don't think y'all have that much interest either, because y'all know it's going to be probably 12-0 Hitchens. If it's not, then I'll be surprised.
Hitchens is going to dominate. I'm not sitting through that. I'll watch the highlights on YouTube. Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time here.
Oh, and this is good, actually. Foxy. Not sure if it's been mentioned, but Ben Shalom's boxer lost his deal with Sky Sports. Yes, did see that this morning. So no idea what's going to happen to them and some of the fighters like Ben Whitaker, etc. Which is funny because Boxer's been putting on some shows, putting on some interesting events. They had Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall, amongst others. So they were doing some things in women's boxing as well. But don't know what's going to happen there. We may come back later this week. We'll see what happens as far as news. And we're targeting a post-fight live because we haven't done one in a minute. We're targeting one for perhaps late in the month.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it might be after Jake Paul fights Julio Cesar Chavez.
Son.
But we'll see.
Any final thoughts, Brian, before we get out of here?
Everybody have a great week. Thanks for supporting. We will talk to you again soon. It'll be either late this week or next week. See what happens.
See ya.